What is going on, you guys, and welcome to the first ever episode of Thompson's Turnbuckle Talk. I am your host, Nick Thompson, and before we get started with this show, I'm going to tell you guys what exactly we're going to be talking about here on the first ever episode. This show is pretty much just going to be talking a lot about professional wrestling news, hence the name with Turnbuckle. But mainly we're going to be talking about WWE news. Every once in a while, we may throw in some AEW news, and actually, as well, I'm a current professional wrestler, so I might just tell you guys about matches I have coming up, or, some matches that I've done in the past. That might be a future episode in the near future, yeah. And, yeah, so obviously, today is Wednesday. It's the Wednesday before Halloween. So I have to have my little setup here. We got The Fiend, we got Undertaker, we got Doink the Clown here to help me get started with this new series. But so what we're going to talk about today, a lot of things have been going on in the WWE. Obviously yesterday was Halloween Havoc, so we're going to talk about the new NXT Women's Champion and the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Toxic Attraction. We're going to be talking about them today. Obviously, the brand split just happened, so we're going to be talking about the WWE brand split. And we're also going to be taking a look at the Becky and Charlotte title exchange incident that happened earlier this week. Alright, so to get things started, we're going to be talking about the WWE Draft, the brand split that just took place. Actually, it took place about a week and a half ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. But it actually didn't come into play until this past Friday. We saw superstars like Roman Reigns, the Usos, Paul Heyman, Sasha Banks, The New Day, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston all go to SmackDown. Of course, Roman Reigns, the #1 draft pick overall. And honestly, he deserves it. He is one of the hottest superstars right now in WWE. He's one of the hottest things in the WWE right now. And he deserves that #1 draft pick. With Paul Heyman by his side, the Usos, the Bloodline, we've all been waiting for this. I know I have. I don't know about you guys, but I know the majority of us have been waiting for this to happen. And it's happening right now. And his match with Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel was actually pretty entertaining. It was like the first time I seemed to be interested in Brock Lesnar as a babyface. So that's a new way of going about this. And yeah, I'm happy Roman Reigns is staying on SmackDown. But we also saw a call-up from NXT, Hit Row. We had B-Fab, Top Dollar, Ashante the Adonis, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. An entertaining faction, an entertaining group, and I think they'll be a great asset to Friday Night SmackDown. Now going over to Raw, we saw Becky Lynch, Edge, Seth Rollins, Big E, all go, that's just to name a few, all go to Monday Night Raw. We just found out on Monday that Seth Rollins will be the next man in line to take on Big E for that WWE Championship. Personally, in my opinion, I think that Friday Night SmackDown actually got the upper hand in this draft. Just because Roman Reigns is one of the top guys, if not the top guy in the WWE. He's the most entertaining, he's the hottest thing right now in WWE, and I think that having that on Friday nights and staying on Friday nights, I think that's a big asset. He's beat people like Edge, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, just to name a few, and I think Roman is only going to keep going. He's over a year now in his Universal title reign, and I don't think anybody's going to stop him. Monday Night Raw, they did get a lot of good picks, but I still think that SmackDown has the upper hand here. I think Raw can become that upper hand show once again, but I think it might take a little time, or SmackDown, I think they're kind of already there, because a lot of people seem to be interested in what's going on over there on Friday nights. Now we're going to move into the next story, which is Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair's title exchange incident that happened this past Monday on Monday Night Raw. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch were set to exchange their titles in some certain way that was gone over backstage. Everybody knew, and then Sasha Banks was supposed to come out and beat up Charlotte and, I don't know, beat up Becky. You know, just make her name known out there. She's supposed to be a part of that. But that didn't go as planned. Apparently, Charlotte Flair, as you guys saw, she didn't want her title reign, according to sources, she didn't want her title reign to look weak. So she held the title on the side, refused to give it to Becky Lynch, dropped the Raw Women's Championship on the ring canvas, the ring mat, and that left Becky Lynch obviously fuming, because then what followed that, none of us expected. Becky Lynch throws the SmackDown Women's Championship at Charlotte Flair. Becky gets her title, and then Sasha Banks comes out, and then the rest is all how it was supposed to be. But you could definitely see that there was some type of heat going on in there. They were fuming at each other. And apparently backstage, Charlotte was escorted out of the arena because of all this, but there was some confrontation between Becky and Charlotte. Becky was not too happy that Charlotte threw the title on the ground, which I can't blame her. And Charlotte wasn't happy at Becky. It was just this whole big mess. And apparently it was left with Charlotte being escorted out of the arena. I don't really know what to take on this. I do agree kind of with Becky, though, that, you know, you shouldn't be throwing the title on the ring mat. But at the same time, Becky throwing the title straight at Charlotte, it's just like both women, in my opinion, were wrong. I don't know what this is going to lead to. Imagine if they have a Survivor Series match, then we'll definitely get some type of stiff punches in there, I guarantee. Actually, now I kind of want to see that. Becky versus Charlotte at Survivor Series. So I hope they both retain their titles going into Survivor Series. I think that's like next month. So maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But one thing I got to say about these title exchanges, though, is they did this with the New Day and the Street Profits, I believe, with the Raw and SmackDown tag titles a few years back. I don't mind the title exchange, but I just feel like giving the person the title kind of... Like, am I supposed to call Charlotte now a 13-time women's champion because it's technically a different reign with a different title? Or should I call her still a 12-time women's champion? I don't really know what to do. I think that they should, in the future, have just the matches where the woman actually loses the title instead of doing this exchange, because then you can have moments like what just happened. But overall, I am excited for Charlotte and Becky to keep doing what they're doing and being the women's champions for their respective brands. And I'm looking forward to the storylines that come out of this. And now we move on to the last story of this Thompson Turnbuckle news episode. Talking about Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, Toxic Attraction, a part of NXT 2.0, which honestly has been on fire recently. You got Braun Breaker, you got Tony D'Angelo, just to name a few guys. Tommaso Ciampa's still there, Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis. Got Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. They bout it, we all know. But Toxic Attraction, probably the hottest faction of female superstars that we have seen in, I don't know how many. I don't even know the last time we've had a woman's faction in the WWE that actually seemed this dominant and this, like, hot on the rise. Like, you can't... Mandy Rose changing her hair color. Mandy Rose having a different attitude. Joining forces with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. It's just... They're all there. They're using their good looks to their advantage. This is exactly what Mandy Rose needed. And Mandy Rose yesterday, last night at Halloween Havoc, walked out your new NXT Women's Champion. And I'm honestly excited for it. I think that they pulled the trigger on the right person. I think they made the right decision here. It's a new brand. It's a new NXT getting boosted up. You got to start off with some new champions. Mandy Rose as the new NXT Women's Champion. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of entertaining and good stuff coming from Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction. And we can't just talk about Mandy Rose, because Gigi Dolan and JC Jane won that ladder match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. So now all 3 women of the Toxic Attraction are dripped in gold, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future holds for Toxic Attraction and NXT 2.0. Anyway, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this first episode of Thompson's Turnbuckle Talk. Make sure to spear that subscribe button. You see what I did there? Put a leg drop on the like button. And yeah, next week we're going to be having new stories, obviously. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.